Have you ever felt like you're being tossed around by the waves of life, constantly reacting to things that are completely out of your control? One moment, you're riding high on a wave of success, and the next, you're pulled under by an unexpected setback, a harsh criticism, or just the relentless pressure of your daily routine. You find yourself drained, anxious, and frustrated, wondering why it's so hard to find a sense of calm and stability in a world that seems designed to create chaos. You strive for peace, but it feels like a distant shore you can never quite reach. What if I told you that the key to navigating these turbulent waters isn't to control the ocean, but to learn how to build an unsinkable ship? This isn't a new problem. For thousands of years, humanity's greatest minds have grappled with this very question. And from the bustling forums of ancient Greece to the corridors of power in the Roman Empire, a powerful and practical philosophy emerged: Stoicism. It's a philosophy forged not in quiet libraries but in the crucible of life itself, practiced by slaves, merchants, generals, and even emperors. It's a toolkit for the mind, designed to build resilience, cultivate inner peace, and develop an unshakable sense of purpose, no matter what storms life throws your way. Today, we're going to unlock that ancient toolkit and show you how to apply its timeless wisdom to the challenges you face every single day. We will move beyond theory and into practical, actionable strategies that can transform the way you experience the world. And if you stay with me until the end, I will share with you an ancient story that shows how we can find strength not by fighting the world, but by learning to work with it. Let's begin with the first line of defense against the chaos of daily life. It's a mental discipline the Stoics practiced to stop negative emotions before they could even take root. They understood a fundamental truth: we are not disturbed by events, but by the judgments we make about them. The philosopher Epictetus stated it plainly: it is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. This is the practice of objective representation, of seeing things as they are, stripped bare of the emotional stories we add to them. Imagine you're driving to work and another car suddenly cuts you off, forcing you to slam on your brakes. The typical reaction is a surge of anger. Your heart pounds, you might yell an insult, and your mind starts racing. That maniac could have killed me. What a disrespectful jerk. My whole day is ruined now. Notice the layers of judgment here. You've assigned malicious intent, you've catastrophized the outcome, and you've decided this single event has the power to ruin the next 12 hours of your life. A Stoic practitioner would train themselves to pause in that split second between the event and the reaction. They would work to see the event for what it is, in its raw, factual form. What actually happened? A metal object, a car, moved from one lane to another in front of you. That's it. There is no inherent disrespect or injustice in that physical event. The driver might be rushing to the hospital, they might be distracted by a personal crisis, or they might simply be a bad driver. You don't know their story, and their intent is outside of your control. By stripping the event of your subjective emotional labels, you create a space. In that space, you can choose a rational response instead of an automatic, emotional one. You can choose to take a deep breath, focus on your own safe driving, and move on with your day, your inner peace completely undisturbed. This applies to everything. Your boss gives you some harsh feedback on a project. The unstoic reaction is, she thinks I'm incompetent. I'm going to get fired. This is a disaster. The objective representation is, a person provided words of criticism about a piece of work. Stripped bare, you can now look at the feedback rationally. Is it valid? Can I learn from it? How can I respond constructively? You have transformed a perceived personal attack into a neutral piece of data that you can use for your own improvement. Practice this daily. When you feel a negative emotion rising, stop and ask yourself, what just happened? And what story am I telling myself about what happened? Separate the two. Describe the event like a scientist would, without judgment or flair. This single habit will extinguish countless emotional fires before they have a chance to burn you. Once we learn to see the world with this objective clarity, the next great challenge naturally arises: dealing with other people. So much of our daily frustration comes from the actions of our colleagues, family, and fellow citizens. They can be selfish, irrational, and infuriating. The Stoics had a radical solution for this, a concept called sympathia. This is the profound recognition that we are all interconnected, all parts of a single, larger organism. Marcus Aurelius compared humanity to a single body, where an injury to one limb is an injury to the whole. He often wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This isn't a sentimental platitude, it's a practical tool for reframing your relationship with others. When a coworker takes credit for your work, or a family member makes a hurtful comment, the default reaction is to feel isolated and victimized. Me against them. Sympathia invites you to zoom out and see the bigger picture. This person is a part of the same human hive as you. Their flawed actions, the Stoics argued, stem from ignorance. Ignorance of what is truly good for them and for the whole. They are like a hand that, not knowing any better, scratches the foot. You wouldn't hate your own hand for this. You would try to teach it. Applying this to your daily life is transformative. That person who cut you off in traffic, they are part of your hive. Perhaps they are rushing to a sick child. Wish them well on their journey. That colleague who is constantly negative, they are suffering from a poverty of perspective. See if you can respond with patience and understanding rather than adding to the negativity. This doesn't mean you should be a doormat or excuse harmful behavior. You can still protect your boundaries and hold people accountable, but you do so from a place of corrective compassion, not personal anger. You are trying to help a fellow part of the whole function better, not win a personal battle. Practice this by starting your day with a simple reminder. Today I will meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. All of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. This was Marcus Aurelius' own morning meditation. It's not a cynical prediction. It's a preparation for reality that allows you to meet these behaviors with magnanimity instead of surprise and anger. By seeing yourself as a citizen of the world, a member of the human hive, your personal grievances shrink and your sense of purpose and connection expands. Your primary duty becomes not to win, but to contribute. This sense of connection helps us navigate our social world. But what about when life itself throws a massive, immovable obstacle in our path? A job loss, a betrayal, a health crisis. The Stoic response to this is perhaps their most empowering and revolutionary idea. The obstacle itself is the way forward. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the art of turning any stumbling block into a stepping stone. This is not about positive thinking or pretending that a bad situation is actually good. It's about a strategic shift in perception. It's about recognizing that every obstacle, every adversity, contains within it a hidden opportunity to practice a virtue. The obstacle doesn't block the path, it is the path. It is the raw material from which you forge your character. Let's say you are unexpectedly laid off from your job. The obstacle is unemployment, financial uncertainty, and a blow to your ego. This is a perfect opportunity to exercise the virtues. It demands courage to face the uncertainty without despair. It requires temperance to manage your finances wisely and avoid panic decisions. It calls for wisdom to assess your skills, learn new ones, and plan your next career move strategically. The job loss, which seemed like a pure negative, has become a training ground for becoming a stronger, more resilient, and more resourceful person. This mindset is the ultimate alchemy. It gives you the power to transmute any negative into a positive. Nothing is ever purely a loss, because every event, no matter how painful, can be used as fuel. When you face a challenge, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What can I do with this? What virtue is this situation asking me to display?" By doing so, you become invincible, not because nothing bad ever happens to you, but because you can turn everything that happens to your advantage. While this alchemist mindset allows us to reframe any obstacle, our modern world often pulls us away from this internal work and forces an obsession on external outcomes. Did you get the promotion? Did you win the game? Did you close the deal? This obsession is a primary source of anxiety and disappointment, because as the Stoics knew, outcomes are almost always outside of our direct control. To combat this, they use the metaphor of the archer. A skilled archer does everything in their power to hit the target. They choose the best bow and arrow, they check the wind, they steady their stance, they control their breathing, and they release the string with perfect form. Everything up to the moment the arrow is released is within their control. But once the arrow leaves the bow, the outcome is no longer in their hands. A sudden gust of wind could blow it off course. The target could move. The Stoic archer, therefore, does not attach their sense of success or failure to whether the arrow hits the bullseye. Their goal is not to hit the target, but to shoot well. They find satisfaction and tranquility in executing the process to the best of their ability. The outcome is merely a bonus. This is the archer's paradox, and it is a profound mental shift for navigating daily challenges. Your goal is not to give a perfect presentation that wins over everyone in the room. That is outside your control. Your goal is to research thoroughly, prepare diligently, and speak as clearly and honestly as you can. That is within your control. By focusing on the process rather than the prize, you detach your inner peace from the unpredictable whims of the external world. You can pursue ambitious goals with all your energy, but without the crippling anxiety of potential failure. If you did your best, if you shot your arrow well, then you have already succeeded, regardless of the outcome. This practice allows you to pour your heart and soul into your efforts while maintaining a core of inner calm. This focus on process over prize is liberating, yet there is a deeper anxiety that can still take hold. The fear of losing what we have, our comfort, our wealth, our health. We become slaves to our own lifestyle, terrified that a turn of bad fortune could take it all away. The Stoics had a powerful and direct antidote to this fear: voluntary discomfort. The philosopher Seneca advised his friend Lucilius to set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" This is not about self-punishment. It is a strategic inoculation against misfortune. By deliberately and temporarily exposing yourself to a milder version of what you fear, you prove to yourself that you can handle it. Your fear of poverty is immense until you spend a weekend eating only rice and beans and realize that while it's not pleasant, it's certainly survivable. You are training your mind and body to be tougher, more adaptable, and less dependent on external comforts. Furthermore, this practice cultivates a profound sense of gratitude for what you normally have. That warm bed feels like the height of luxury after a night spent on the floor. By periodically stepping out of your comfort zone, you reset your baseline for happiness. You can integrate this into your life in small, manageable ways. Once a week, skip a meal. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. These small acts of self-imposed hardship build a psychological toughness that fortune cannot so easily break. You will not only diminish your fears of the future, but you will also amplify your appreciation for the present. Chapter 6. Guarding the present, the power of attention. This practice of voluntary hardship builds a resilience against future loss. But the Stoics knew that the ultimate battleground for tranquility is not in the future or the past, but right now, in the present moment. In our daily lives, our minds are rarely where our bodies are. When we are at work, we worry about problems at home. When we are at home, we stress about the next day's work. We live in a constant state of mental time travel. The Stoic solution was a rigorous practice called prosoche, which is the Greek word for attention. It is the practice of keeping your mind fixed on the present moment, the only place where life is actually lived. The philosopher Epictetus taught that our chief task in life is to deal with the present moment. He said, "Your duty is to stand guard over the ruling faculty of your mind at all times. The present is your post. It is the only time and place where you have any real power to act, to choose, and to apply your philosophy. The past is gone and the future is not yet here. Both are outside of your control. Your attention, therefore, is your most precious resource, and you must guard it fiercely." You can apply this practice throughout your day. When you are engaged in a task, give it your full attention. If you're writing a report, just write the report. When you are having a conversation with a loved one, truly listen. By anchoring yourself in the present, you starve anxiety and regret of the fuel they need to survive. By practicing prosoche, you bring the full force of your character and reason to bear on the only thing that ever truly matters: this very moment. It is in the here and now that you build a good life, one present moment at a time. conclusion, and the archer's parable. These are not abstract theories. They are a practical set of tools to build your inner fortress, your unsinkable ship. When we learn to strip events of our subjective judgments, we see them clearly. When we embrace our role in the human hive, we transform our relationship with others. When we adopt the alchemist mindset, we turn any obstacle into an opportunity for growth. When we embrace the archer's paradox, we focus on our efforts, not on uncontrollable outcomes. When we practice hardship, we build our resilience and gratitude. And when we guard our attention on the present moment, we bring all our power to where it matters most. They are a daily practice for navigating the turbulent waters of life with grace, resilience, and tranquility. Now, before you go, let me tell you a story that shows how we can find strength not by fighting the world, but by learning to work with it. A young archer sought to win glory in the king's tournament. Every day he practiced in the meadow, and in calm weather his arrows flew straight. On the day of the contest, a fierce wind swept across the field. The young archer grew angry. "How can I win when the wind ruins every shot?" he cried. An old archer beside him smiled. "The wind is not your enemy, it is your teacher. You cannot command it to be still, but you can learn how to aim with it, how to time your release, how to make its force your ally." The young archer listened. He adjusted his stance, waited for the right moment, and loosed his arrows with the wind instead of against it. Though he did not strike the bullseye every time, he struck truer than any who fought the wind in anger. When the tournament ended, the old archer said, "To master your craft is not to shoot only in fair weather, but to shoot well in any weather." The young archer learned a profound Stoic lesson that day. Life will always be a field swept by unpredictable winds. The winds of misfortune, of difficult people, of unexpected challenges. We cannot command these winds to be still. We can only choose to be the archer who learns from them, the one who adjusts their aim, who finds strength in adversity, and who understands that true mastery is not about a life without problems, but about living with virtue and skill, no matter what the weather. The goal is not to wait for the storm to pass, but to learn how to shoot well in the wind.